Hello everyone, it's Alana and welcome back to my channel for chapter 11 of Sweetbriars Leaving the City. Before we start reading, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you know when chapter 12 is coming out. And if you have any questions, comments or reviews, feel free to put them in the comments below or message me on my social medias at @AlanClarkEquestrian. Thank you, Halen. On Instagram and Facebook, or at ace_equestrian on Twitter. And without further ado, let's start reading. Sweetbriars, Leaving the City, Chapter 11. The days were getting shorter and autumn was on its way. Cate and Alex had explored every inch of the forest and the horses even knew which direction to take when they were travelling the bridle paths. The fields were full of sunburnt grass that was green at the bottom but topped with dry, wispy bits. The horses were experts at digging their noses deep into the grass to find and devour the remaining goodness. With the shorter, cooler days, the horses were stabled at night. Now that they had more clients, the family hired a local named Owen to muck out the stables early in the morning. Owen worked with Barry on the hay harvest during the day, and Barry had recommended him as a good worker. Owen was from Wales and had an accent that Mum called charming. He was cheerful, efficient, and gentle with the horses. Alex and Cate were responsible for feeding the horses, turning them out into the fields in the morning and bringing them inside at night. At school, final exams were just around the corner and many students seemed more focused after the summer break. Cate, Violet and Tabby continued going to the library some days after school to study. At the Cream Cakes cafe afterwards, they drank hot chocolate instead of iced chocolate. One Pony Club rally day, Cate was waiting for Violet and Alex at the back gate so they could ride to Pony Club together. Odette was standing patiently, looking over the gate and down the lane. She had her ears pricked and Cate admired them. They were a toffee colour at the edges after the nice, long, warm summer. Alex and Violet appeared and they made their way calmly through the forest to Pony Club. The Pony Club sessions were full of preparation for the forthcoming championships. In the dressage to music session they worked on the pas de deux, with Mans taking Cate and Tabby a pair. Somehow Odette and the stocky but capable cob Nancy worked well together. Genevieve and Jilly insisted they be paired together, and the leggy chestnut mare and short, stocky buckskin pony were also an unusual combination. The mare was in front of the pony most of the time, instead of side by side, and Genevieve got cross at Jilly more than once. There was a session to discuss the fancy dress parade, and everyone agreed they would walk and trot in one big group, with the first two riders carrying flags in the Pony Club colours. Once they finished 2 circuits at the walk and trot, they would pair off and do a circuit of the indoor arena at a fast canter, carrying the flags and passing them to the next pair of riders. Mans suggested practising the pair work and handing over the flags to the next pair of riders. Genevieve and Jilly were the pair in front of Cate and Tabby, and Genevieve had to trot Lady earlier so Jilly could catch up. Cate and Tabby stood waiting for them with their hands stretched out ready to take the flagpoles. Genevieve was on Cate's side and she thrust the pole in the air, then dropped it before Cate could take it. Tabby grabbed the flag off Jilly and went cantering off. Cate had to call Tabby back whilst Mans retrieved the flag from the ground and gave it to Cate. Cate saw Genevieve smile when it fell and Cate simmered with anger, certain she did it on purpose. Once they both had the flags in their hands, Nancy and Odette did almost simultaneous walk-to-canter transitions and cantered sprightly together. Cate's anger faded as she focused on cantering one-handed, the other hand holding the pole. She enjoyed the feeling of Odette's springy steps. In the afternoon, Cate had another trying lesson with Benji. His intensity seemed to be increasing as the Pony Club Championships approached. Cate felt Odette was going well, but when she asked for an extended trot across the diagonal, Benji shouted, "More! You can ask for more!" in an exasperated tone. Then the lesson ended abruptly as they ran out of time again. Cate felt a lump form in her throat and she held back tears. Fortunately, Tabby was chatting to Benji when they finished, so Cate had the chance to leave the arena by herself. She untacked Odette and gave her hay and water and put a warm blanket on her. Cate took a few deep breaths and regained her composure, so she was able to greet Tabby and Violet normally by lunchtime. Much to her surprise, Benji pulled Cate aside before lunch finished. "Cate, can I have a word with you, please?" he asked. "Okay," said Cate, unsure what to think. Benji hadn't spoken to her outside of lessons before. Benji led Cate to a seat beside the show jumping field and gestured for her to sit down. "I wanted to tell you I'm sorry if you think I'm being hard on you," Benji said, his grey eyes looking intently into Cate's. "It's only because I think you and Odette have immense potential. Both of you are blessed with great talent. Most kids here would give their right arm to have what you have." Benji stared ahead, then continued, "You have improved, but there are times when you lose focus. You know what the right feeling is now, but sometimes you forget and look like your head is in the clouds." Cate had mixed feelings, concern over not making Benji happy, but also hope as Benji didn't dislike her or think she was a bad rider after all. She found her voice. "Okay, Benji, thanks for letting me know. I really want to improve." Cate had an urge to float in an idea, and before she realised the words were out of her mouth. "Benji, would you teach me outside of Pony Club? It's great here, but I only get limited one-on-one time." Benji leant back in thought and then touched Cate's arm. "Cate, I would be delighted to teach you individually if your parents agree. I know your mother teaches you sometimes, and I don't want to tread on her toes. Please check with them first." "Of course," replied Cate and grinned, pleased she had found the courage to ask him. On the way home from Pony Club, they were riding through the forest when they heard a loud engine noise up ahead. A few minutes later, an enormous green combine harvester tractor appeared loaded with large round bales of yellow hay. The horses stopped and were startled as the tractor came around a corner to face them. The driver peered over the large bales of hay and turned off his loud engine. The tractor took up the whole path, making it impossible to get by. The horses huddled together, shuffling and stamping. The huge machine was making them more and more nervous. The driver climbed off the metal monster. As he approached, Cate recognised him. It was their neighbour, Barry. "Hi, kids. Could you possibly go back the way you came and take another route? I have a mile of reversing before I can turn around," he said with a touch of exasperation. I'm afraid that'll be tricky," said Alex, shaking his head. "The only other route home will put us on the main road, and it's just not safe for horses, especially at this time of day." Barry paused and squinted at the trio in the fading daylight. "Are you the kids from Sweetbriars?" "Yes," said Alex and Cate. Violet smiled and gave a little wave. Barry paused, looking back at his tractor in thought. "All right, guess I'm going to have to reverse. It's going to take a wee while," he mumbled. Cate thought the wee while sounded like wee, which made her smile to herself despite the circumstances. "Okay, thank you very much," said Alex apologetically. "We are dreadfully sorry," added Cate, aghast that the poor man was going to have to reverse the giant machine for almost a mile. "It's not a problem. It'll test my reversing skills," said Barry, chuckling. As the tractor reversed, the children followed it slowly, trying not to get too close. Spot, who was usually a cucumber, was skittish, jig-jogging about and snorting. As it reversed, the tractor made beeping sounds that were even louder than the engine. After 20 minutes of following the tractor as it reversed at a crab-like pace, the children reached a field where the horses could go into a driveway and finally let the huge machine pass. Barry was good-natured about the situation, and Cate marvelled at the relaxed attitude of farmers in Dalesea compared to those in Hattersfield. When they finally made their way back to the stable, Cate went to the feed room to fetch Odette's bucket. Pip was sleeping on his favourite blanket on the ledge of the hayloft, and he opened half an eye when Cate came in. She was in the middle of patting him when she was distracted by urgent scratching noises followed by whining. It was Mickey, and he was up to something. Cate called his name, and he bounded out from behind the large metal feed bin with something in his mouth. He sat at Cate's feet and dropped the grey object. Cate grimaced and bent over to see what he'd found. It looked way too small to be a rabbit. It was a fat mouse. Cate hadn't known Mickey to catch mice before. They hadn't seen a mouse in months, but they'd assumed this meant Pip was doing his job. However, this was a little puzzling, as when they saw Pip in the daytime, he was usually having a siesta, and at night he now slept in the house. Cate put two and two together. Pip wasn't the mouse catcher, it was Mickey. Mickey could see Cate wasn't particularly interested in the mouse. He darted back behind the metal bin and scratched madly at an almost undetectable gap in the corner. There must be other mice in there, thought Cate. Perhaps with the colder days they were sheltering in the warmth of the feed room. That evening Cate told her family about what she had found. "That Pip is one smart cookie," said her mum, laughing. "I think the only thing he's eaten since he's been here is tinned cat food or bits of our supper." "Oh, he's a little prince. He needs his beauty sleep, and when he's awake he guards Sweetbriars as Mickey is always off in the hedges," said Cate fondly, laughing. Cate and Alex went on to tell their parents about the encounter with Barry and his enormous tractor. "He seems like a lovely man, that Barry," remarked Mum. "Yes," agreed Dad. "Most farmers would have done the same thing, but perhaps less graciously." They all agreed how nice Barry had been, and Dad said he would drop into his farm during the week to thank him and ask his advice about the mouse problem. If the mice were living in the wall, it might be difficult for Mickey, or Pip if he was inclined, to catch all of them. As supper was coming to an end, Cate asked her parents if it was okay to organise another pizza night on Friday and invite her friends. Mum and Dad agreed, and Alex said he would invite Toby. Cate bounded upstairs to her bedroom to get ready for bed, but sleep didn't come as easily as she was full of anticipation. She felt excited about the pizza night and having friends to invite over. She's even more excited about the Pony Club Championships. Maybe not the dressage test, but the other activities and staying in the lorry with her friends. When they'd first moved to Sweetbriars, she would often wonder what Beth or Bridget would be doing at any given moment, but that always made her feel glum. Now Beth and Cate were back to the old rhythm of sending daily messages and photos which brightened Kate's day. On top of that, having experiences such as Barry reversing a mile for them earlier in the day, the strange Sophia bringing carrots for Odette, and even George at the cafe giving them extra ice cream, Cate realised that these random and small things made life more fun. On Monday, Cate invited Tabby and Violet to the Friday pizza night, and they happily accepted. Cate also decided to invite Sophia and realised she didn't have her phone number. Cate dropped a note into Sophia's letterbox with the invitation and her phone number. Early the next morning, Sophia messaged Cate to accept the invitation, but not long after that, Cate received another message from Sophia saying that her stepfather told her she wasn't able to go as he didn't want her out late in the dark. Mum offered to drive Sophia home. She was already dropping Tabby home, so it would not be an inconvenience. Finally, Sophia's parents agreed, and Cate wondered with amusement whether Sophia would bring her doll along. That week, the girls saw Mrs. Magel at the Cream Cakes Cafe for the first time. She said George had gotten a lurgy, so she was filling in for him. She asked them if they'd like organic fruit smoothies instead of their usual hot chocolate. The girls politely declined, and asked for scones with jam, clotted cream, and a red velvet cupcake for Tabby. Cate wondered how Tabby could eat so many cakes yet stay so thin. As the girls chatted, Tabby confessed tearfully that she was going to have to give up Nancy as she was exhausted. It was all too much for her. Cate and Violet comforted Tabby and admitted it was probably for the best. Neither of them could imagine working on top of riding and doing schoolwork. Friday pizza night came around quickly. To Kate's surprise, Sophia turned up at Sweetbriars on foot as it was turning dark. Cate thought it was strange her stepfather allowed her to arrive in the dark alone, yet made such a fuss earlier in the week. Interestingly, she didn't bring along her doll. Not long after arriving, Sophia presented Kate's mum with a gift, a red scarf that she had knitted herself. She said it was to thank her for letting her come to pizza night and to visit Odette. Sophia handed it over somewhat timidly, but Mum seemed charmed and gave Sophia a hug. Sophia stood there stiffly at first, then relaxed and hugged her back with a grin on her face. Sophia kept her beanie on her head all night despite the house being cosy and warm. She only ate margarita pizza with a spattering of cheese and declined soft drinks. Instead, she asked for plain water and a fresh lemon to squeeze into it. She said the lemon was good for digestion. Violet and Sophia had completely opposite personalities, and Violet seemed not to notice the quieter girl much. Sophia went bright red when Toby joked about her wearing her beanie inside. To Kate's surprise, Violet jumped in, saying, "Yeah, well, you're wearing your collar popped up. I'm not sure why." They all laughed good-naturedly, even Sophia. Of course, they talked about their horses, with Sophia nodding along, trying to follow. She became more animated whenever Odette's name was mentioned. At 8:30 p.m. sharp, the house phone rang and Mum answered it. It was Sophia's stepfather checking to see if she would be home on time. Mum mentioned the call casually to Sophia and she looked embarrassed. Tabby joked that her mum would either not be home or not notice her coming in by curfew, and how lucky Sophia was to have such an attentive stepfather. This joke fell a little flat and left Cate and Violet feeling bad for both Sophia and Tabby. Tabby laughed it off, and they sat on the sofa watching music videos for the remaining hour. And that is all from me today. I super hope you enjoyed reading chapter 11. I know I really did. And until chapter 12, from Halen and I, it's goodbye.